Welcome to Game On. I'm Drew Miller. This is a video series promoting small businesses by highlighting a business, but also with some really cool celebrity interviews. Got a great guest today. He's a recent graduate of Berklee College of Music. He is a managing partner of Prudential Music Group, and he is the drummer currently for Ted Nugent. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Jason Hartless.
Thanks for having me on, brother.
Yeah, for sure. What a treat for me to have you. So I'm going to ask you some questions. Let's jump right in them right now. And my first question is, you're on tour. What is a normal day look like for you? Time you get up to the time you hit your head to the pillow.
Well, touring with the Nugent camp, we've got a lot of luxuries that really kind of make my life easy and the other band members easy. We travel in a large tour bus, so we're sleeping in the tour bus at night, in between cities, because we're pretty much playing every single night. So my typical day, I get woken up about 9:30, 10 in the morning by our production assistant, literally get thrown in a van with my luggage and get taken to a hotel that I get to have a nice room all day. I get to do some work, take a nap. But what's great about it is it gives me kind of freedom to just kind of separate from all that stuff for a little while. And most of the cities that we play in are large metropolitan areas. So things like Uber and Lyft are a godsend for touring musicians because we can literally go anywhere we want and sightsee, find a good restaurant. And me and the bass player have found some gems over the years that are fantastic. But during the day, it's really nice to be able to sit down and do work. The last 4 years I've been going to college, so having that time to be able to sit down and do my schoolwork while I'm on the road is very important. And then another luxury is we actually don't do sound check. My drum tech and all the techs, they actually do it. So I don't even see my drums until literally I'm stepping on stage.
Wow.
So it can be a little nerve wracking. When I started touring with them a few years ago, never having a tech before, but my tech now knows my gear so well that everything's perfect when I step on. But we usually play about 2.5 hour, 2 hour set every night. And getting off stage, you've got so much energy, and we always get food catered to us after, nice steak or something like that to
Nice.
kind of build up some of that energy a little bit. But I'm an early sleeper, so being on tour is actually the opposite. Usually I'm not getting to bed until 2, 3 in the morning. By the time the bus gets moving, we get rolling, all that stuff. So it can be very taunting on your body and a little draining energy wise, but it's one of the best jobs in the world. And I look at it as I get paid to travel the world.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, what a fun day. I mean, people don't realize that you have so much that goes into your day for a concert and even practice days. I mean, you guys recording uh, different tracks or CDs or whatever you guys are doing. There's so much behind the scenes stuff that you guys have going on, and that's some really cool insight just to see kind of what your normal day looks like on a concert day. All right, next question. So being a musician and a businessman, being a managing partner for the Prudential Music Group, what is something that you've taken that you've learned and helped you be successful from music, and you've taken that and translated that into your business side of your life?
Well, I've grown up in this industry. I've been playing drums since I was 6 months old, started playing professionally when I was 5. So it's literally all I know. So growing up, seeing everything, how the business works, and, my father being someone that knows the industry very well, growing up in that kind of atmosphere and climate really taught me a lot of things on the job versus, going to school and learning it. So when I started, my college degree, all the things that I was learning about the business were just filling in those gaps that I just never learned, throughout my career. So now, running a music conglomerate and, overseeing a couple labels, I'm able to look at the business very differently than, say someone that's just straight up a business executive, because, I understand the art side of it. I understand the performer side of it. And, I understand the recording side. Understanding every single aspect of the business really is a big benefit for me because, I can talk the jargon with whomever I need to. I can, I understand what might work and what might not work. So it's definitely been a major advantage for my business side, understanding also the performance side of everything.
I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, for me with hockey, it was like sometimes when you are looking at your agent and or someone like, and you're for you to go in with a label, you want someone that's been there that can help you through some of these situations that you might not have been in. So, yeah, that's great. I mean, that's great business advice, and I think it's something that people can watch this and say, hey, you know what, I can relate to people in a certain way, and maybe I can find a different way to relate to people as well. And so that's good. All right, next question. So you started touring from a young age, which 5 years old. I don't know what I was doing at five, but I wasn't touring. What are some of the tours you were on, and who is one of your favorite people growing up that you've gotten a chance to actually meet and have a relationship with?
Well, I started playing around Detroit, and just bars with, all adult band, just doing covers, at five. I didn't really start actively touring until I was about 12 years old. And at that point, I started working with an artist named Brian Schramm, who was Uncle Cracker's guitar player for a little bit, and starting touring all across the U.S. And it was strange because I was in sixth grade when I got that gig. So all through my sixth grade and middle school years, I was doing a lot of touring. Luckily, it never was a big issue with my schoolwork, because a lot of times the bigger tours would happen in the summer, and some other things would, my teachers would work with me very well, to make sure that I was getting my work done, when I was gone for a little bit. But, the really first major tour I did was in 2009 when I was 14. And this band that I was with ended up touring, opening for Motley Crue for 2.5 months. And that was the summer before my freshman year of high school. So I kind of was put in this dilemma of, all right, well, do I tour with Motley Crue or do I do marching band?
Yeah,
So
tough
that was
choice
that.
there.
Yeah, right. So that was really the first major amphitheater tour, playing in front of tens of thousands of people every night, and it really was the tour that also kind of helped build my name in the industry much farther than it was before. And as it went on, I started touring with other people, and when I got the Ted Nugent gig in 2016, that was such a major milestone in my career, because instantly my name is got propelled over so many different outlets, media, music, whatever, because Ted is such a household name, whether you know his music or not. It really helps me with,
Yeah,
I can go up to anybody and say, oh, I'm the drummer of Ted Nugent. Everybody knows who he is, so it's instantaneous gratification, and kind of a stamp of approval on myself when I'm trying to get different tours or different studio work or whatever. So I can't even, you know, I knew it was going to help, but I didn't realize it was going to help that much.
yeah. I mean, you're playing on some big stages, and like you said, playing almost every single night. So you definitely get noticed, and I know that he's happy to have you. I mean, you've been doing this for so long, so it's crazy to think that you're only 25, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean, the stuff that you've already experienced and you're only 25 is something that maybe someone that never even experienced some things you've done, but let alone 50, 60 years old, you've lived a lifetime already, and you're already 25 years old. So very cool. So I know you're a huge Red Wing fan. Um, you and your dad and your family frequent some games, and I know that Prudential has a suite at the arena. Let's talk about some of your memories just growing up, and if you have a favorite player or favorite memory or anything like that, you want to just kind of talk about your love for the team and the sport.
Well, it's interesting because when I was born, I was born in November. My first Christmas, a month later, My dad got me a little Wayne Gretzky gloves, little CCM skates, because he wanted me to be a hockey player because he was a drummer. So right off the bat, it was like he's going to be a hockey player, and never skated in my life. So as I was growing up, it was hockey was just such a major part of it. But in a time there, it kind of faded away, and I just kind of got focused on doing other things. And it was probably in my mid-teens when I rediscovered the sport, and because everything that I've done was so music based, everything in my life had something to do with music. So hockey became the outlet for myself out of music for a little bit. And since then I've been just an insane hockey fan, following it. And you know um growing up at Joe Louis Arena was one of the best memories I have is in that building. So seeing that place go down was heartbreaking.
Tough. It's tough
I
to see.
I was at the last 10 games because I didn't want to miss anything. I think that last season I probably was at maybe 30, because it was definitely a special place. And we Prudential had a suite at Joe Louis the last, I think, 6 seasons. So I was spending so much time there. I seen a lot of my favorite artists there. And so that building has got memories that'll last my lifetime. And but again, having hockey in my life as a fan has really helped me to focus on other things other than music for a while. And it's just the greatest sport in the world. And definitely grew up in hockey town, so it makes sense.
Yeah, and I mentioned earlier before we started recording that I'm probably your favorite player. Number 20, you said Mickey Redmond is, and joking, but I know the Wings have had some amazing guys on the team. Is there one guy that kind of stands out that you watch from a young kid, or even in your teens, or now, someone that you just loved watching?
Well, what's again, like toward my midlife, I kind of just wasn't really paying attention too much. So I was a little kid, during the late '90s and early 2000s when that insane team was around, and
Yeah.
it really wasn't until about 2008 when I rediscovered, and like my dad and I were at Joe Louis for the '08 Cup, because they were showing it on the jumbotron, and that was when I kind of really rediscovered it. So there's been so many different amazing players that have been on this team. And it's the Red Wings of the Yankees of the NHL. you know so many Hall of Famers. I mean,
Yeah.
the 02 team, I think there'll never ever be a team like that ever in existence.
Yeah, I mean, that was amazing team. Names on the
So
team.
I mean, you had a rookie, Pavel Datsuk, on this team. And if you got that, it's stacked. So
Yeah.
growing up, and I started really getting into hockey when you were on the team. So the early 2010s and stuff like that is Henrik and Pavel and you and Cronwall and all these guys that were just the cornerstone of the team. Post Nick Lindstrom era. It's just amazing that we've been, blessed with such insane amount of players in such a small little time.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you putting me on that list. But I think you named some really good ones with Pavel and Z and Croner, those guys. I mean, the night in and night out, they were the best players on the ice, and it's for you, it's fun to watch, and for me, I had a front row seat as well, so
Right.
to see those guys, so a lot of fun. Jason, I appreciate you coming on with me today. I mean, the viewers, you're giving them an insight into something that maybe not get to see that often, and see some of the stuff behind the scenes with you and in your life, and some of your passions away from music as well. Um, so viewers, I want to encourage you guys to also check out the interviews and highlighting the small businesses. Some really good interviews coming up still. Just get out there and support these small businesses. And if it's not safe to still, go online, find them, find a way to support them. It's all great stuff. So Jason, awesome having you on. Appreciate it. And cheers, buddy.
Thanks, brother.